there was this huge chemtrail in the back, and I had my phone inside, so I didn't get it. But that's also weird, you know, that I'm putting up my bunker, and I haven't seen any chemtrails like immediately made around me for a while, you know, for a couple of weeks. So I found that kind of interesting. But I don't know. I think that after years and years and years, they may back off a little bit with the gang stalking, because they've already kind of horrified you with that, and then they're just working on murdering you. And really, well, there's an EMS worker. That could just be an EMS worker. It might not be part of the gang stalking. Because I mean, you know, we've got to understand, guys. And I know this is kind of hard, and it's hard for me. Sometimes I don't want to say it to like targeted individuals who've only gone through this for like a year or 2 years or something like that. They are trying to traumatize us to basically wipe away neurons, to change, to like reconfigure our brain, the wiring in our brain, to mess with your personality, you know, to mess with your happiness, your feelings, to mess with your visual cortex. You know, they're trying to do all this trauma so that then they can get into the remote neural manipulation part of it. You know, and that's, I mean, that is the Chewy center of it. So I kind of hate saying that, because I know there are a lot of targeted individuals out there that they're like, I'm not getting the mind control part. I'm getting hurt. You know, they're traumatizing me. But like the mind, they're not doing any kind of messing with my mind or anything like that. And to those people, I would probably say, you know, they are. It's just probably subtle where you don't notice it. I don't really know why I went to that subject, but it's very important to know that you've got to know yourself, because that's kind of the Chewy center of why they're doing all this. And I know I say that a lot. Because I don't have a great sense of well-being anymore. It's a 24-hour-a-day war for me. And then, you know, kind of being random tonight. Kind of being really random tonight. So maybe get back on track. I had a great Thanksgiving. And today I was going to go out for Black Friday, but I slept through it. I figured just sleeping in the bunker, getting a little bit of time away from like the full 100% directed energy would be a good idea. But yeah, I hope all you guys are doing well, or as comfortable as possible, you know, through this. I get, you know, this is like, it's a concrete happening. So it's like military killings with military weapons. Like I don't consider this some kind of experiment where people are kind of getting a little bit hurt. Because of what's happened to me, I consider it like military strikes on American citizens. So, you know, I cry out on these videos and just keep talking about it and keep talking about it because it's such a concrete murder. Like, I mean, I get up and it's hard for me to think. My head feels like it's been rammed in by heat, by a lot of heat burning it. In my nervous system, in my spine, feels like people are cutting on it with knives. And so, you know, I don't see this thing as a little annoyance. You know, and I know that some target individuals, when it first starts out, like, 'cause when it first started out for me, I had a ton of energy, a lot of adrenaline. My body healed up pretty fast, you know, and it seemed like an annoyance. Like, oh my God, this thing is, you know, on top of me. But, you know, hey, it's not that bad. But, you know, after years and years and years of it, with them going really hard, like just always going really hard and nailing you with directed energy, it really wears the body down. It wears the body and the mind down. So to me, it's like, even though it's kind of like a slow going thing when you first become a target individual to where you're, you know, they're crippling you. And sometimes it happens faster. With me, I guess, you know, I have a lot of bounce back, and I still do. You know, I think we all have a lot of bounce back. But man, when it's 24 hours a day, and you know your body just, you can't even take the torture anymore, and you can barely make a thought, because I mean they're sending signals to your head that they don't have to manually do much. Once they've got things started over the years or even a couple of weeks, you know, they have programming for the remote neural manipulation that just automatically, like, as long as they have that beam targeted on you, like, or the stream of energy, you know, as Brian 2 calls it, you know, they can automate programming. Hey, hit this part of his brain. Then they don't have to worry about that all the time. They can be working on something else with that automatically targeting, you know, a certain part of your brain all the time. And then they can put it on another part of your brain to target that part of your brain, and then kind of leave it programmed and automatically, you know, hitting those parts of your brain, and then move on. And then they can, so they, even if they don't add on more people to hit you on the remote platform, they're programming this stuff to keep hitting you there, to keep hitting me maybe in the part of my brain that controls happiness or whatever, or that part of my spine, is that at the lower part of your upper spine. Oh, and there was a sheriff right there. At the lower part of your spine, the upper spine, it's like a part where it kind of controls your happiness, and so they can just automatically keep that beam entrained on that part, and then move on to something else and keep adding stuff, even though they're not adding people on the shifts. And I think that's how I understand it. You know, leave your comments if you think differently than me. If you do think that it's all, you know, because they're, you know, the contractors admit, like, I've looked up Kratos, and they actually advertise experimentation for directed energy weapons, and they do talk about unmanned directed energy weapon systems. But you know, I think in our case, they really are, even if they are doing a lot of automated stuff to you, and they do maybe leave the platform and let it kind of automatically, like, motion track and stuff like that. They have to come back and fix it every once in a while. For me, it's intensive. For me, it's people that are always sitting there. Like, they don't leave. They make sure that they're always there. There's maybe a skeleton crew on some holidays, I think. And then there's a lot of automated stuff, but they're really, you know, I don't want to say that I'm a hard target. I mean, a lot of us are hard targets, but I think I am a hard target. I think that, like, because I had Crohn's disease and I went through a lot of stuff and surviving when I was young, I think I figure out a lot of ways, and my body and my brain adapt a lot. Here's a one light car. But this program, you know, this program is to show that no matter how strong somebody is, or how good they are, how lucky they are, or how, you know, resourceful they are, if you just stay on them, you can destroy them. Like, I mean, that's what this thing is for. I mean, that's one of the angles, you know, because there's tons of angles here. There's population reduction, which is genocide. Then there's, you know, studying the brain and the nervous system. Then there's advancing these directed energy weapons. And that's why it's so hard for us, guys. I mean, that's why we have so many people covering up this you know, this experimentation, this murder, is because there's so many angles that so much money is made off of, and more money can be made off of it. So that's why we're fighting such a beast. I mean, it's really, you know, the number one industry in America, and I think other countries now, is, you know, non-consensual human experimentation, defense contracts, directed energy weapons. I think it would be the number one industry where you can make the most money. You have to sell your soul and murder people, but, oh, and there's a one white truck there. I guess I'm getting a little bit of it now. I've been out for a while. I guess I have to stay out for a while. It's kind of nice, this, you know, driving around, and I don't do it much because my car is so, you know, my car is so beat up, but it reminds me of, oh, I am getting a lot now. Yeah, I've been out for a while, so I actually am. They're starting to do the rounds here. Look, yeah, it's coming on strong. There's a one light car right here coming up. See it? Yeah. So right when I say that, then I get like, you know, surrounded. Yeah, I like it though, because it reminds me of the times when I would drive around and just do long videos. My mom gave me an old tablet of hers, so I think I'm gonna try and get some videos up, you know, the full videos instead of in parts. I really hate that. I think it makes a big difference on people not really getting my information correctly. So I think they're kind of satisfied with that, you know, because a lot of people, they just want to turn on a video and watch it all the way through. They're not really going to go to part 2 and part 3. I think our attention spans are shortened to the point of like what tsetse flies attention spans these days. Mine too. So, you know, I'm not judging anybody, because mine is too. Especially with the severe torture to my brain, my attention span is just not at the level where I can sit there and really concentrate on something for a while. You all see my videos. I go kind of everywhere. Oh, I am getting a lot of vehicular stalking now. But I just really hope y'all had a good. Oh gosh, yeah. I needed to mention I did not have my call last night, my conference call, because at about 10:30, like I was kind of watching movies and messing with my bunker, and then at about 10:30 I started to try to get on to TalkShoe, you know, because I was just going to start kind of early. I know people get notifications for the shows that they go to a lot. So I was just going to start it at 10:30 so I wouldn't have to keep it going as late. And I tried to get on to TalkShoe from like 10:30 to midnight. And then I ended up just falling asleep. I ended up just getting in my enclosure and like wait. I was going to wait for like 15 more minutes and then try and get on like one more time. But I ended up just getting, you know, just falling asleep. So really disappointed about that, but TalkShoe's been having a lot of problems lately. I'm really sorry for anybody who, you know, was planning on going to that, who really needed that. You know, we'll have another late night call on Thursday. I kind of want to do something during the weekend, but there are tons of calls during the weekend. But I'm gonna kind of see. I'm gonna play it by ear. I'm really sorry to anybody who was like looking forward to that. I was kind of, you know, at first, you know, it's kind of like when you're targeted like this. At first, you think it's your attackers, and I was like, why are they trying to stop me from going to this late night call? You know, why would they be doing that? And then after about 15 minutes, I was like, no, they usually let me get on the calls because they like attacking me while I'm doing the conference call. I think that's fun for them. It gets some trauma out for them. So they usually let me get on the call. So then I figured out after about 15 minutes that it was TalkShoe, and some other TIs were having trouble with it. And I can't just get on with my phone because my phone carrier won't let me do conference calls for TalkShoe, because they've got to pay a certain amount of money for the conference call thing. I think a couple of cents per call. So really sorry about that, guys. But for right now, you know, I really want to do more conference calls. But for right now, I'm going to keep it just a Thursday night call, just so I can be consistent with it. You know, I find that when I do two calls a week, and the videos, it's a little bit too much. And I want to, you know, I want to really try and start to send Dave's CD out again. I think we all need to get that. It hasn't, you know, cured my problems, but it's really held my attackers back on my brain. And I was reading something. If you go to, I was reading last night something that kind of worried me. You know, Robert Duncan was talking to Todd Giffen, I think by email, and you can go to Bill Binney and Targeted Individuals, and I think it's like the first website, it's Todd Giffen's website, where he kind of reports how Bill Binney is helping our community. And then further down, he's like emailing back and forth with Robert Duncan. in Robert.